Okay, let's see what quad witching did for us. Good morning, everybody. This is Spooky's Revenge. We're back with another 5-year, $500 Rags to Riches series episode, and it is Monday, which means it's push day. So when I go back to the gym tonight at 9 o'clock, it's going to be time to push some weights and do shoulders and stuff like that. So, but enough of that. Let's talk about what happened in the market. Last Friday was quad witching. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with that, quad witching is every third Friday of every third month. So on the March 15th, the Ides of March, that was one of those instances where that lined up. And quad witching is just a day, it's 4 days a year, where various instruments expirations, so options, bonds, all that good stuff, they all line up with the expiration. So there's a massive assignment pool, and a lot of people just get their shares taken away, contracts expire worthless. It's just a big resolution date, and it helps keeps things nice and balanced in the options chains, as well as on the bond side and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get my face out of the way. Let me click on the right screen this time. Okay, so this is a 50K account. It was up, I think, like $2,200 this morning at open. NEO had a gap up as a result of quad witching. Obviously, there's some sell-off into the morning, but I'm not worried about that because we got a nice, strong support. But this gap right here, from there to there, right, from 8 o'clock Friday night to 4 o'clock this morning, it opened up here at the open of this candle. This is a result of those mass assignments on quad witching or over the weekend. So if you had NEO covered calls, for example, and you got assigned, you would have sold your shares, which would have pushed the price up. And it changes the resolution date for the morning open on the Monday after quad witching. So as you can see, price gapped up, and now price is selling back off. It's going to just come back here to the support and ideally hold, but we can't guarantee that. But either way, we had a nice, strong pump, which means that there is still a lot of solid call interest in this stock. So I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, OCGN is having a good day as well. So let's switch over to the small account here. So on this one here, the 50K, I didn't have anything get assigned. So you can see the days realized P&L is still 0, which it's been like that for 2 weeks because I haven't bought or sold anything. However, we are in a position where these covered calls, even though the price is going up overall from where we bought them. Remember, I bought these at 535. Okay, I got these down here, this blue line back there, and you can see the price is selling off pretty drastically for what it is, right? It's given back all these profits so far, and it's still just kind of hovering in this range. But these contracts that I have are up 22% just from time decay, right? And they expire April 5th, which is going to be 2 weeks from now. Not this current Friday, not next Friday, but the week after. So 3 weeks, I should say. 3 weeks after today, then I'll just keep the entire $55 times 84 unless the price goes up again to the point where I get assigned, and then I get that $5,880 quote-unquote capped profit. And if price goes up higher than that, I can close this position altogether and lock in even more profit without assignment. And that's kind of just my way of exercising the contract as the seller so that it takes the power away from the buyer and I don't have capped profits. So enough about that. Let's switch over to the Rags to Riches smaller account, the $500 one. And we'll go ahead and look at that. And you can see here that one of our OCGN calls, our covered calls here, was assigned. So if I look at the realized P&L here, you can see days realized P&L is $25.06. And that's because I had 100 shares and I sold them in addition to the premium that I sold on the contract. So if I click here, okay, and then I go, so if you're in the desktop app, by the way, to see this stuff, you're going to have to go down here to exercise history. So you go to the account tab, and then down here under account management, there's these 6 buttons. You want to click exercise history. So what you can see here is most of these contracts that I have in this portfolio are expired, right? They just expire worthless. And then in this case, I shorted it. So I sold the contract in this one. And the exercise date was March 15th, so Friday. And you can see the status here was assigned. So if it expired worthless, it would say expired. If I got assigned and I had to sell my shares, that would say assigned, like it does. So you can see OCGN here, the $1 strike price. So I sold, basically what happened is I sold 15 cents a share, roughly, I think, or maybe it's like 8 cents, I don't remember. And then times 100 shares, and then the value of the premium on top of that is what resulted in this $25.06 profit. Now, there is a fee attached because it's an option contract. It's like 7 cents or something. So if I come here, type in OCGN, and then I go to trading records, you can see the fees right here, 7 cents. So when I sold this March 15th $1 strike call on the 100 shares, it was a $15 premium that I collected per share, right? And then the fee is just a one-time 7-cent thing. So it's not like I'm losing half the profits. It's not times 100 on that. It's just times 1. This average is times 100 though. So I got $15 there, plus $10 in share premium, share appreciation. And then that adds together to make the 2506. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And what I'm going to do probably pretty soon here. Now I can't open another one right now because the cash is unsettled. But once that settles, then I can open another one, and I might do it on OCGN. I kind of like it, but I want to see where this longer one shakes out. And as you can see, right, I bought these down here. This shares average is 96 cents, right? So I got them down here, 96. But the price is up to 112, 114. So the buyer of this call should be in profitable territory, and they should be super ecstatic because the price is moving up. However, we're getting closer to that expiration range, which means that the theta is eroding the value of that contract, and it's not outperforming it on this push. So far, that buyer of the call contract that I sold it to is probably pretty frustrated. They bought the call, price has gone up, and they're not seeing a profit right now. So that's the exact mechanism that we capitalize on for these when we sell these covered calls. So now, in fact, that contract value has decreased by 3 cents per contract, which means I'm now profitable and the buyer is looking at a 12% loss, or like 10%, something like that. And that's where it's at. I want theta to do my job for me. I don't want to have to work twice for my money. And again, I'm covered in all 3 scenarios, up, down, and sideways. As far as the other positions go, we've got a little bit of a bounce here on Tesla, but it's nothing significant. I don't really care about the share price on this one. Again, it's all about just those dividends paying themselves off. And then once that happens, they're free shares or reduced cost shares. And then I don't have to worry about anything because it's just free equity that will continue to pay going forward. Clip as well. We had a little pop and then it's kind of selling off just like Neo. And you can see here there's another gap. That's a pretty sizable gap, but I don't think this is a result of quad witching because this one doesn't have a good options chain. You can see there's no volume. So that is not quad witching. And you can see there's just a gap in the volume there. So ladder is still within that 3%. It's still just kind of going sideways in this range. Not much we can do about that. And that's okay because this is, again, a long-term investment. It's not it's got to go up 600% in 2 weeks. This is a growth position, so I'm just going to let it go. Those who might be familiar with Zillow, Z, that trade, that one went up over a long period of time. I opened that one back in like March, I think, and we sold it up here, and then it's just kind of selling off again. So this is just a nice little rinse and repeat one, but I'm waiting for it to come down to this blue line range before I open another position. And I probably won't do it on this portfolio just because it's a $46 stock. Well, it will be about $41 or $42, but I do still like it as a long-term rinse and repeat stock. Johnson & Johnson, this one I've averaged up on. It's still just right at my break-even, so I'm not too worried about that. Maine is pushing up steadily. O is kind of hovering a little bit, but it's, again, this is they've paid and raised their dividend for 30 years straight, so I'm not worried about this one. Schwab is in the positive. This one I might run a covered call on pretty soon. The problem is I don't have enough capital because I have to be able to buy 100 shares, and that's $8,000, so $7,500, something like that. Just don't have it in this portfolio, but we will eventually. Otherwise, I got the 50K account to just kind of walk through that one for you guys. SFES still waiting. This price action is completely irrelevant to me because I can't buy or sell these shares. They're going to buy my shares at an increased rate anyway, so I just have to wait for them to follow through on that. We already covered the OCGN trade. There we go, 30-minute chart. And then JAPQ, of course, is just kind of, it's fine. It found the support, and it's just bouncing off of that. So, again, this is one that I plan to rack up a massive amount of shares over a long period of time and just let it pay for itself. So, With that said, I'm going to switch back over to this account really quick just to see if there's any kind of useful action that I can show you guys before I end this recording. And maybe. I mean, we're back up in the 4-digit profits for the day, but that is it's just because we're finding support here, I think, and the call value is pretty intense there. So if we look at these numbers right here, you can see that the share value is up 840. Contract value is down for me as the seller. So it's up for the buyer, down for the seller by 3.49% for the day. And you can see the price moved up and shares about half that. And that, quadruples the price. So share P&L is really where it's at. But the contract value is nice for rinse and repeat. Same for OCGN. We're in that golden zone, just like I talked about. So everything, all three of these are green. That just means that the share price is going up, but it's not fast enough to outperform the decay of those contracts. And this is the overall P&L for that position so far. So the calls are up for the buyer about 3 cents per contract, which means I'm in the red on it. But again, this red number in my portfolio doesn't mean anything because when the contract goes away, whether it's through assignment, expiration, or anything else, this red number goes away. So I don't ever really care about these unless it's expiring worthless or I want to lock it in early or if I want to keep the shares, but I don't. So I'm just going to let it go. And then for WBA, you can see that the price has fallen off a little bit, right? The price itself is only about 2.8% down on the shares, but the covered calls are 34.24% up, which is pretty nice. Now, granted, that's about half the share unrealized loss, but it's still very fast. And this contract is going to expire in 2 weeks, or next Thursday, I should say. So 9 trading days, and then we'll have a nice clean profit here of $92 that we didn't have to work for, right? And then that lowers our cost basis here from 21.26 down to whatever that minus 92 cents is. Let me just do some quick math here. So my cost basis on this is now $20.34, and we are currently above that. So if we find support, push up, all that good stuff, we'll be fine. There's a nice clean support here. Otherwise, we'll just sell another covered call, and then, we'll just do that until we get assigned. So with all that said and out of the way, I'm going to end this recording here. Thank you all for watching, and let's have a safe week, and don't do anything crazy. Hopefully everyone isn't too hungover from St. Patrick's Day, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you, and goodbye.